What's up, man? It's your boy Herb from UrbTv, and welcome to the first episode of On the Dash. This is a video series where I'll be taking you on a ride with me from time to time to show you some things about my daily life as a DoorDash driver. You'll get a chance to witness some of my weird interactions, funny things that happen throughout the day, complaining that I usually do in the car by myself. I'm gonna show it all to y'all, raw and uncut. I decided to take on more of my side hustle since we both gonna be at home taking care of the baby. So let's get to it.
Drop the low, I'm on the way. 5-star rating, never late. Every mile I'm getting paid. I don't wait, I'm out the gate. I'm on the dash. I'm on the dash. Gotta get to the bag. Gotta run out the cash. Picking up, dropping off. Pulling up, then I'm gone. Clocking in, running back. Getting money, I'm my own boss. I'm on the dash.
So the time is 6:30 a.m. in Wisconsin, Green Bay, Wisconsin. That's where I'm driving at, for those of y'all that don't know. 6:30 a.m. and I will just now, start my dashing app. Let's see how long it takes to get the first order. Here we go. So here we are. And I guess the first thing we have to talk about is, learning as a dasher, how things are in your particular area where you live at or where you plan to dash at. I started off being very impatient. This is not my first day dashing, by the way. This has been my side hustle for a few months, but I get to put more time into it now that I'm gonna be spending a few months at home with the baby. Yeah, so it's now 6:40. We've been sitting here for 10 minutes, and not that I'm a fan of wasting gas and mileage on the vehicles, but I found in my experience that it's better to kind of move around. I don't know if the algorithm or whatever, the technology of the actual DoorDash app can detect when you're active, if that makes you look more active. I'm not sure. If you know better than I do, leave a comment and let me know. This page, I want y'all to know, this channel is always gonna be about sharing. So if you hear me say something that you don't agree with, or things may be different in your area, or you might have some advice or a tip for me that I can make my journey better, always feel free to leave a comment or send us a message. Even when it comes to the content, like, if I put music in the wrong spot, if the microphone don't sound right, if the sun is glaring in the camera the wrong way, the angle is wrong, let me know how I can make this thing better. So what I'm gonna do right now is we're gonna pull off and try to pick a different spot and see if that triggers the app to send us an actual order. Like I said, I'm in Green Bay, Wisconsin, so yeah, it's still dark right now. We just had daylight savings this weekend, and yeah, it's beautiful weather. It's supposed to be about 50 degrees today. I know that's cold to some of y'all, depending on where you at. But yeah, I'm pretty sure, even though it's looking and feeling like spring out here a little bit, next couple of weeks you'll probably see me dashing in a snowstorm. That's how it is in Wisconsin, if you didn't know. What things we got going on in Green Bay? The draft is in town this year, so in a few months we'll be dealing with that. It'll be interesting to see how that affects the DoorDash situation. I'm sure that'll be crazy with all the out-of-towners and people coming to support their loved ones that's ready to go off into the next step of their career. I can see right now that starting these vlogs this early in the morning in the daytime is gonna be a struggle unless I put some lights in my car, and I don't want all those distractions. I'm in my wife's car right now, by the way. It's a lot more comfortable. It uses a lot more gas, but I bought a car specifically for DoorDashing that I use, a little Ford Focus. It only takes me about 30 or 40 bucks to get a decent amount of gas for me to do a whole shift If I'm really going hard, I'll stop and gas up again. But that car is bought specifically to put miles on. Oh, here we go. Now, we got our first order, which happens to be, okay, 6:42. It took us 12 minutes for our first order. And look at this. This is what they want us to do. They want to give me $8 for 2 pickups. And you know what's crazy is I have to take it because my acceptance rate is low. So, see you guys in a minute and we'll see how this goes.
Yo. 24/7 is the lifestyle. Up with the drive time. You can see the grind, the shine when it's night out. Wake up,
all right,
take
so
the
here we go.
sunrise. Steady in motion.
First order wasn't too bad so far. It was ready as soon as I walked in. We have another pickup on the same order. And when I was just talking about, you know, me buying my car specifically to put miles on, because before I started dashing, or when I first started dashing, I watched a lot of YouTubers, a lot of videos where, you know, the dashers kind of brag about, you know, some dashers go by the dollar per mile rule. And I've heard other dashers say like, nah, fuck that, that's some bullshit. That's not enough. But that's because, you know, it's understandable if you are using your only vehicle that you have access to. You know, you use the same vehicle that you go to work in, take the kids to school, go grocery shopping in, then obviously you want to preserve that vehicle. But I bought a vehicle just to do this. So if I burn it out, I'll just buy another one. Like, that's the point of staying on the grind and staying on the road. All I really have to worry about, like, so I don't count like all that extra money for my overhead and all of that. All I have to worry about is, you know, I fill up in the morning, run that gas out, cash out, fill up again, and keep it moving pretty much. But generally, I try to keep it at least $1 a mile. Now, back to, I spoke earlier about my acceptance rate being low. That is a problem because, okay, so I'm a platinum level dasher, which means I don't have to schedule. I can dash anytime I want to. And supposedly, you know, I have faster access to higher paying orders. But the app, the algorithm, the app, whatever what it is that you want to call it, it definitely knows when you have not accepted. You have to stay above a 70% to keep it a bean, right? And then if you go below 70%, you got to work your way back up to a platinum dasher. Now, because of the weekend, and I was being cocky and didn't want to take some of the lower orders, my acceptance rate is down to 71%. We'll talk about a little bit later. There's a way to avoid that. But as of right now, especially starting this early in the morning, I don't want to just sit around all day. So in order to get my acceptance rate back up, I just start taking anything. I'm not doing anything anyway. This had 2 orders on it. I was already sitting right at Dunkin' Donuts, and I have to go to Denny's for a pickup. The Denny's is 15 miles away. So more than likely, the delivery will be right in the vicinity of Denny's. They're both going to the same person. So, you know, however that works out, it works out. I could say no and then sit there and I wouldn't have the, what was this, $8 that they did give me, which is a terrible rate, by the way. Like, if you do the math, that's like 50 cents a mile. That's unacceptable. And, you know, if my acceptance rate was up, I absolutely would not have accepted that order. I expect this is a good situation to be in for the first episode, because I expect to receive a lot of bullshit orders today. But we'll see. Hopefully that won't be the case. A little tip of advice: I usually start the week off Mondays. I start the beginning of my week accepting a lot of bullshit anyway, so it'll prevent me from accepting bullshit later. If I can get my acceptance rate up, if I can use all of Monday to get my acceptance rate up to say 80 something or 90, close to 90, Then when I get these little orders later on in the week, I don't have to decline 10 of them in a row. But yes, I can definitely say no to a $5 for 5 miles, because that's not, you know, you got to take your time into account of it too, besides just your mileage and you know, the stuff that's on your vehicles and gas money. If I take, like for example, this order is taking me 15 minutes, and I'm not sure if it's going to be out of my zone or whatever, but every trip, count that double, because you potentially have to come back to where you were. So 30 minutes for $8. That's about $16 an hour. Here's one of the most annoying parts of the job. Speaking of, you know, how when your acceptance rate is low, you have to accept orders that you wouldn't necessarily take in a normal situation. Seems like every time I take an order that I shouldn't be taking, or that I wouldn't normally take, some weird shit happens. Like, so I was 15 minutes away. I probably need to correct myself. I'm not sure in the last clip if I said that the restaurant was 15 miles away or 15 minutes away. So the order overall was 15 miles. So I had about, I think 8 or 10 miles to come where I'm pulling into right now, to this restaurant. And when I was talking to you guys, it said that I was 15 minutes away from where I was going. And every now and then the DoorDash app does this thing where it wigs the fuck out. Like, it flipped, you know how it's like a compass. So it twisted and turned for a minute, and it flipped from 15 minutes to 19 minutes and took me on some weird route. You know, that's another challenge that I seem to have to deal with, because I'm new to Green Bay, fairly new. I've only lived here for 2 years. I'm originally from Milwaukee. If this was my hometown, then I could just dash and turn off the app and go where the hell I'm going once I know where the destination is. So with me having to use the app all the time, I have to go, you know, the routes that app chooses. I can only hope that it takes me, you know, the quickest way. But yeah, so I'm here now, and let's see how this goes. Hopefully it's ready. Okay, so it looks like I was right. The destination from the restaurant is 6 miles, which is going to take me 9 minutes. I'm not mad at it. The order was ready right away. Usually, when you have that far to go to pick up the actual order, there's no wait time. Mornings, there's generally less wait time than usual. You usually have to wait a lot more during the lunch rush, and right at the tip early of the dinner rush.
Making sure everybody eats. Hey, making sure everybody eats. Making sure everybody eats. Making sure everybody eats. Yes, sir.
All right, so that delivery went well.
Granny needs some groceries.
Second delivery popped up on my screen before I even pulled off from that person's house, which is a good sign that it must be kind of busy this morning. And the rate went up. I got a 7.5 miles for $8. So my second $8 order. The first one was double the mileage. This one is at least a little bit over $1 a mile, $1.10 a mile or something like that. Yeah, and I'm with it. Sun's coming out. It's feeling good out here. Let's get it.
I did for Una, I did for you, driving for you. I did cruise for Green Bay Street, chasing money, I go find them, I go get them. The road long, but I steady, I know this slack. For my wife, I'm picking them, I go shine. Every hustle, every move, not for them. I no go fail, I go they do I'm well. Wifey, they house, they care for the kids. I they outside all night just to give them better life.
All right, so different part of the morning. Sun is out, it's beaming in certain directions. I'm gonna keep it funky with you. I'm not really I've never really been a sunglasses guy until I had to drive for a hustle. I understand now. Some people wear them actually for what they were created for, and they work well. I don't really like having shit on my face when I drive around like this, but it is what it is. I'd rather be safe and not, catch some kind of glare in my eye, jump a curb or run over something or something like that. So yeah, this second order was also 2 drop-offs, but like I said, it was half the mileage. It was like 6-7 miles or something like that for $8. By the way, the last order, the customer, I just got a notification, the customer added $2. You'll see that a lot because like when you choose early in the morning or late at night is usually when I get a tip added to my order, because some customers are just, they're grateful because, at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, it might be, depending on your area, it might be hard to get a dasher. Same thing with late at night. So if you're the only person out there, if you jumped on that order right away and you brought it right to them, they're like, oh, hell yeah, I needed my coffee this morning or whatever it was. But I'm not going to keep boring y'all with my whole day like this. These not going to be, hour-long videos and shit like that. I'm going to try to add little tidbits of information and tips and shit that I have, but these videos are not meant to be that informative. Hopefully you can get some kind of value out of it besides entertainment. But yeah, so I'm gonna check back in with y'all when it's about time for my first break, for about lunch break. As of right now, like I said before, 7:30. We started at 6:30, 7:30, 1 hour in. We've made $16. And it ain't even made yet because I still got to drop it off. I could have said no to that first order and I would only have $8 an hour to start off my day. So it was worth the time kill. And yeah, I'll holler at you guys in a few hours and we'll see what my amount is at then.
Take my time, baby. Long road home where my peace lives. Talking about where my peace lives. On my way, I just gotta take my time. I'ma take my time where I'm going on.
So I'm back in my driveway. I had to take an earlier break than was expected because one thing about my wife's car versus my car, I got all my gadgets and shit in there, so I didn't have my charging dock. And since I'm using my camera, I usually use this phone for my DoorDash, and it has a more powerful battery. Plus, I have a dock that it sits in that charges it continuously while I'm DoorDashing. My other phone is a little older, and my main phone that I use for my phone calls, and it's down to about 15% now. 9 o'clock, it's 9 a.m. This is not a bad time to take a break anyway, because like I was speaking about before, if you don't really want to deal with all of the accepting the low pay orders, every, and this is going to be dependent on your area and where you dash at, but every area has different peak hours and downtime. So it's kind of like if you've ever worked at fast food, you have a breakfast rush. That's why we started at 6:30. 9 o'clock, right about now, it starts to dwindle down a little bit. I actually just rode all the way from the west side of my town back over here to the east side where I live at, and nothing popped up. I just turned off the app when I pulled into my driveway. So yeah, this will be one of those times, like unless you're just extremely bored and you have nothing else to do, or you may be financially behind on some things or whatever, this isn't really a fun time or a good time to be out here just waiting for every little $5, $3.50 order, which, full disclosure, I should have said that earlier. With the breakfast rush, if you're that ambitious to get up early in the morning and start for the breakfast rush, that's pretty much all you're going to get is lower orders. Those $8 orders I got this morning, they weren't the mileage that I would have liked, but the lunch rush will be a lot different though. So check back in with y'all in a minute and we'll see how that goes.
I'm on the dash, zooming through the city, I stay lit. Double orders back to back, that's a quick flip. Ain't no clocking out, I just hit another lick. Money talking, see the total when I check the trip. I'm on the dash. I'm on the dash. Gotta get to the bag. Gotta run up the cash. up, then I'm gone. Clocking in, run it back. Getting money, I'm my own boss. I'm on the dash.